Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these pretty cool pipes that I made for the background for Tomcat. And if you request me enough, I'll show you how to make these quite fancy, like sort of spider clamp things for the side of your modules. Obviously they're going to be resized. I made them a bit too big, but who cares? Today we're going to be focusing on this part, not the I could show you how to make the plaque as well, because that's pretty straightforward. But yeah, today I'll just be showing you how to make these tubes. So what we want to do first is you want to go File, New, and you're going to want to make them pretty big, because obviously when you scale them down to the size of your header, they're going to become quite pixelated. So we're going to do 1000 by 1000 pixels. And it's just really proper basic pen tool stuff. Make sure that your pen tool is set to mask mode rather than the one that draws around things, and make sure you've got a nice sort of metallic grey sort of selected. And what we're going to do, actually we're not going to do the pen tool first, we're going to get a box, our vector box tool, and we're just going to draw a nice rectangular shape like this. Right, I've got my bevel turned on, so I'm just going to reset that quickly and turn it off. Right, so I've taken bevel off that. And what we want to do next is we want to get our pen tool, and I'm just going to give you a quick lesson with the pen tool. Basically, some people, when they're drawing curves like this, and that happens, and they're like, why the hell is it drawing this extra stupid curvy line on there for? And that's because you've got these handles, and basically with these handles, what it says to the program is, when you click over here, I want to continue making a curve around this arc, because it does it based on sort of like points in a triangle. Don't ask me, I watched it on some tutorial on this website called Linda, but yeah. What you want to do is hold Alt and just click that, and it will get rid of the other handle, and you're free to make lines in the direction that you want to make them. So let's get on with the next part of this tutorial, and I'm just going to show you how to do the next part. So what you want to do is you want to click a fair little bit away from the pipe. Ooh, that's probably too far. Probably like a diagonal line away from it. Just click inside, and you want to hold Shift and just drag it to the left. And then we want to come over directly like this. Oops, sorry, we want Alt click so you get rid of that handle. Come over, bring it up, and connect it up. And that's pretty flush. If you want to make sure, just bring your ruler down, and you can see that's pretty straight. First thing you do now is Control R to bring up your rulers. Then what you want to do is you want to duplicate this layer, Control and J, and then you want to come to Edit, Transform Path, Flip Horizontal, and then we just want to bring this layer over so it's in line with the other one. So we want to bring it back to that same point, and we just want to tidy up the other one a little bit more so they're pretty much equal. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to make this one a lighter grey, and then we'll do the same for this one. We're using the eyedropper tool to match the colour. Alright, you can put this layer ahead of it depending on how deep you want your pipe, but I want mine quite thick, I think. Maybe move this up a little bit more just to give the pipe a bit more depth. And then what we want to do is we want to merge this layer, we want to duplicate it again, Control J, and then we're going to go File, Edit, Transform, Flip Vertical, and I'm just going to drop this down to the opposing side. God, I need a better microphone, this one's awful. Alright, so that looks quite nice. And what we want to do now is we want to rasterize this layer too, convert it to a smart object, and then you want to rasterize it again. Basically, when you convert it to a smart object, it like makes all the effects part of that image. So say like you bevel it, because when you bevel it, it saves that bevel settings and it applies it to everything you want to apply a bevel to. And if you change the bevel, it's going to change the appearance on your whole document. So you convert it to a smart object and then rasterize it again, and then you can bevel again on another thing. You'll see what I mean on another tutorial. We won't need to use it on this one. So what we want to do next is we want to merge these ones and call these the... Oh, didn't mean to do that. Just call these top, and then with this one, what what you want to do is you want to start making it look a lot nicer. So what you want to do is you want to control and click on here, and this brings up the sort of marquee around the outside of it, so we can't paint outside of that area. And then we want to get our paintbrush tool, make sure it's got quite a decent hardness, and you guys can choose which way you want the light to go. You can either have it coming across or you can have it coming down. I think I'll do it different to mod when I have it coming across. So what we want to do is you want to get a nice highlight colour and just bring it across like that. And then what we want to do next is, maybe if you want to add a little bit more depth, is just shrink the size down with the brush and just put it through the middle. Gives it a bit more highlight. Maybe you don't want to give it too much, so you have a little bit extra on the bottom like this. And then what we're going to do is you want to go filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And we're just going to blur these together. And then what I did in my other one is I applied another blur as well. I did a surface blur as well, and that just sort of rounds it off a lot more, makes it look a lot smoother and a lot more metallic. So you just play with those until you have it as you want, and then you can do Control D to deselect it, or you can click on your marquee tool. Then what I did on my other one is I've got another rectangular tool, put it to black, and I just drew around the outside like this, and then I set that layer behind this one, dropped it down, and that just sharpened things up a lot more. See, you've got a lot more sharpness back in there, and it still looks metallic. And then I merged the whole layer together like so, and now everything's together. So what we want to do now is you want to get a burn tool. I've got my exposure down to about 17% because we don't want it too dark, and make sure you got your range set to shadows, because midtones and highlights really don't show up that well. And what we want to do is we just want to add a little bit of depth to the what can I call it, the edges, like this. Just makes them look a bit more 3D, more rounded. I'm not spending loads of time on this like I did on my other one last night, so obviously your guys' one's got a lot better than this, but you get the idea. Go with as crazy with this as you like. I even played with the curves on mine. I think I just yeah, I did. And obviously, if you want it to look a bit more rough, you can do a blur on the outside of this as well. Now it's time to scale this down with it and start producing the curve in it. So we just want to Control J the layer, and we want to rotate it basically. Just move it up, and we're going to repeat this process until we have a nice curve, sort of spine to the shape. I'm using my arrow keys to move this rather than positioning it with the mouse. It's a lot less time consuming. Well, depending on whereabouts you're moving your object, it can be a lot less time consuming, or it can be more time consuming. But for fine adjustments, it's sort of what I like to use. The longer you hold it down for, the more it accelerates, but we're just placing it. And you'll see that if you've got a sharp enough edge, like to these parts here, that you'll actually get a really nice sort of join. It won't look too, I don't know what the word is, I'm losing it, guys. You get a much smoother sort of edge to it. It will look really rounded. So I'm quite happy with that. What I'm going to do now is merge these layers all together and probably rotate it a little bit so that will fall flush with the sort of bracket, or whatever you want to call it, the black. And now what you want to do is we want to add our sort of green tube through the middle. So for that, we get our pen tool again, and let's do like a nice ready liquid for this one. And what we're going to do is we'll start on the background layer, because it will make a new layer above the one you have selected. So we don't want it to go above our top copy. And we're just going to click here, and at the bottom, and we're going to move this curve. Oh god, I'm going to have to zoom out. Click here. I'm just going to move this until it sits nicely in there like that. Alt click on here, click to the other side, and then we're going to try and match this up as best we can. If I get this first time, I'll be very happy. Yeah, I've done it. There we go. Alt click again and bring it down to join it up. Now you're probably looking at that and you're thinking, ooh, that looks really crap. And you're thinking, oh, why does it look 3D and all that jazz in there? Well, what we want to do first is we want to rasterize this layer. Then we're going to do the control click again to get it all selected and nice. And then we're going to select a few different shades of red to apply texture. So let's make it quite nice and light around these areas, so it looks like it's light on the top. And then as we're going in, we'll get darker, so we'll just build these layers up pretty much, just getting darker. And I'm sure you guys get the point of this. Pretty self-explanatory really. Going through this. Sorry, I'm really bad at talking while I'm concentrating, as you probably already guessed. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to get the burn tool and just burn around this, so on the edges you can actually highlight where everything goes. And then maybe even the dodge tool to lighten up these areas at the top. The final thing that I did on the other one, we could possibly as well do a blur on this actually, or even better, make a duplicate, adjustments, curves, bring it down like a lot, play with the opacity on this one, play with the opacity on this one, and then maybe even blur this bottom one out a bit. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, and leave your requests for future tutorials. Thanks for watching guys, and peace.